This one we're going to go ahead and make that ethereal synth from Travis Scott's Telekinesis. So the instrument we're going to use for this one is Logic's ES2 synthesizer. Go ahead and create a new software instrument track, bring in ES2. I'm going to copy down the same MIDI pattern here, except I'm not going to copy over the automation. We're going to do it from scratch. I'll show you what I mean in a moment. This is what the sound sounds like in its default setting. We're just going to start with the default preset that loads in ES2. So before we get to any sound design, we're going to add in an automation to give it sort of that wavy effect. So I'm going to hit A on my keyboard right here to bring up the automation. And we're going to draw in like a wave here to give us that sort of bounce effect. So I'm going to click a dot here. I'm going to click a dot here and click a dot here. I'm going to bring this down to about -8. Nothing too crazy. We don't want it to have that pumping effect. We just want it to wave. Except I don't want it to have a straight sort of up kind of thing happening here. Let's just make sure this dot is on this point right here. I want it to have a nice little curve. So we're gonna do right here, I'm gonna change one of my tools here to the automation curve tool. And I'm gonna click and I'm just gonna add in a nice little curve, something like that. Next, we're gonna drag our playhead to the next beat. Put a dot in, make sure that we are lined up because we want this to be on the grid. And I'm going to bring this down as well to about -8. And once again, we're going to add the same curve, but we're going to reverse it. So it's going to have this nice little arc shape like that. Now let's select our automation. We're going to click and drag over all those automation points. Command C. I'm going to go to this point right here. And I'm just going to start copying. Command V, Command V, Command V. And just keep duplicating that over the entire region. And now we get that movement. So now let's get to the sound design. So we're gonna work off of the default preset that loads up in ES2. We're gonna keep the oscillators as they are, except oscillator 2 is going to be a square wave and oscillator 3 is going to be a triangle wave. And for this oscillator, we're gonna pitch it up 1 octave. So we're gonna add in some detuning between the oscillators by bringing up the analog knob to about 1 o'clock. I'm going to make this fuller by hitting unison. Except I'm going to bring up the voices because I have more notes than 4 playing at any time. I want to use filter 2 for the fat filter over here. So I'm going to bring this over to the filter 2 or cutoff 2. And I'm going to click on fat. Let's open up that filter. I'm going to add in a little bit of resonance for buzziness. So what we're about to do now is we're going to really shape up the sound. We're going to focus on envelope 2 and envelope 3. So first, let's get the attack on our amplifier envelope over here. And then over on envelope 2, we're going to pull up the attack as well to give it like a swell motion. So here it kind of goes whoo, whoo. It opens up. So there's a more drastic effect of that. I'm going to bring up the decay on envelope 2. I'm going to bring down the release. And next we're going to pull down this right here just so it's not such an aggressive sort of swell motion or swell sound. Doesn't open that filter completely. Now let's get to some of the effects. We're gonna go ahead and first bring in a instance of Bit Crusher just to give it a little bit of ring and distortion to it. We're We don't want it too sort of bright, so we're just going to pull it back a bit. Just kind of gives it that analog flavor a bit to it. Next, let's bring in a chorus. Bring in that glimmering chorus preset. And lastly, let's put it in a space so it gives us that ethereal vibes. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Logic's Chroma Verb right here. Once again, we're going to work off of the default preset that loads up. We're just going to bring up the decay so that it's a bigger space, if you will. Bring up the density a bit. And for this, I want the wet to be higher than the dry level, just to give us that ethereal sound. So I'm going to bring this up to about like 90, let's say, and we'll bring back the dry a bit. See how it kind of gives us that space that we need for it. And now if we bring in the bass that layers underneath it, you have that layered pulsating synth from Travis Scott's Telekinesis remade in Logic Pro. If you are interested in the drum sounds from the Travis Scott Utopia album, I put together a deconstructed kit featuring all of the drum samples from each song off of Utopia. The link to that drum kit will be down in the description box below this video. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something new. We'll catch you on the next one. Later. Peace.